Hello, I'm Morris Dimba, your presenter. Please welcome to this presentation. Today, I'm going to show you how to apply a clip plane on a model. This clip plane here with the symbol of a scissor. The importance of a clip plane is that it enables you to manipulate and access various parts of a model. And another issue I would like to bring to your attention is how to create a hole or holes for bolting or any kind of a hole on a steel member. And please welcome to this presentation. But first of all, we'll start off by creating the holes on a steel member, like for this bridge deck here. Now I want to create a hole for this bridge deck, and this steel bridge deck. Let me bring it closer. Let me switch to isometric view. Now I want to create a hole down here. I want to create a plate, then create some holes on the plate. The plate will be welded underneath the beams. This plate will be sandwiching the elastomeric bearing, but our main aim is to show you how to create a hole on a steel member. Now from here, I'll just come here and rotate with the mouse. I'll bring this closer. Now I'll use these 2 points to create a plate. Now from here, I'll just come to edit and come to points. I want to get the midpoint between these 2 points. I'll click on that spot and click on this end, and I will have my midpoint created there. I'll interrupt to end that command, and I want an offset of probably 80 and 80, or 100 is okay. Now I'll just click on this. I'll right click and click copy from this spot, and I'll just place my cursor here and type. And prior to typing that, you first of all have to check the distance from this end to this end. I'll come to edit and come to measure. I'll click that drop down arrow, this drop down arrow, and check the measurement there. I'll click that spot and this spot. I'll be able to see that this is 219. Now I want to copy this spot to this direction by 300. That's okay. I'll click on that spot, right click and click copy, and I'll just click on the same spot and direct my cursor in this direction and type 300. I'll enter on my keyboard. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll just click here, right click, and hold this from that end and bring it to that spot. I would have created an offset on that end. Now what I'm going to do is very simple. Just highlight this and press my control button on the mouse and click this also. I'll right click and click copy from this spot and give it a direction on this end. On that direction, I'll type 600 right there. I'll right click to end that command. I'll right click. After right clicking, I'll do that again. I'll right click. This dialog box will come, and select on interrupt. Interrupt means you disable the active command. Now I'll click on interrupt. Now I'll use these 4 points to create a plate. I'll come to steel. I'll come to plate. I'll pick that. I'll snap on that spot, snap on that spot, and snap on that spot until I come back to my initial spot to close the line. After closing the line, you'll see my plate created there. Now I'll double click on this, maybe to change the thickness of the plate. I'll click this and come to profile under attributes and change this from 10. I'll give it 32 millimeter thickness. I'll give it modify and apply and accept that. Now from there, I'll come to view, navigate, rotate with mouse, and rotate about that spot. I can be able to turn this perfectly well. Now I want to work on this plate, but I'm faced with some obstruction to an extent that I'll not be able to access this plate and work on it properly. Now what I'm going to do, I'll click on the parts or on the members that I'm interested on, or I intend to work on. I'll click this member, I'll click on that. I don't need the studs. I'll click this plate. After clicking that, I'll go ahead and right click on the selection and come to show only selected. I'll click that and I'll remain with what I need or I want to use. Now I'll turn this. After all other members have been hidden, I'll click on an empty screen to disable the initial selection. Now if I zoom closer and turn this round like this, I'll be able to see this. I'll be able to see that clearly and perfectly. Now from here, I want to create some guidelines about the holes. I'm yet to create. I'll come to edit. I'll come to points. Points are very critical, and is a very critical command here. I'll come to online. I'll snap at the midpoint here and snap on another midpoint on another point here. I'll create the midpoint there and click OK. Now I'll come to points again and pick any position and snap at the middle there and run all the way to this spot. I'll right click to end that command. Now I'll click back to my initial spot and click copy and hold it from this spot and join with the previous spot. These three spots or points are just for guidelines creation on where and how I'll place my bolts or holes for my bolts. Now and remember, these plates will be welded underneath this beam. Now from here I want to create an offset of 100 and offset of 100 there. Now I'll click on that spot, right click and click copy. I'll place my cursor there. I'll want to copy it from here. I'll click there and give it a direction. I'll not click on this end. I'll just place my cursor on top of this spot just to give my copy command a direction. Now I'll type 100. I'll type 100 and enter on my keyboard. I'll right click to end that copy command. I'll click that spot, right click and copy it from this spot and join it up with that end. Now if I take measurement from this spot to that end, I'll get 200 here. Now I want a hole between this, a hole here and a hole there. Now I'll pick this, right click and click copy and hold it from that spot and join it to that end. it hasn't copied properly. Right click and click copy, snap on that spot and join with that spot. It's not copying properly. Copy from this end to that end. Or if that is not working properly, we'll just do it the manual way. I'll just come to point and pick that. Then from here to here, I'll type 200. I'll type 200 and enter. 200 and enter. I'll click that, right click and click copy from that spot to this spot. I'll type 100. I'll enter. I'll go ahead again and do the same thing. Click this, right click, click copy from this spot, from that spot to this spot, 100 right there. Interrupt that. Now from there, using these 2 points, using these points and this point, this point and this point, I want to create a hole here and here. And if you like, you can create other holes, but the essence of this is just to show you how to create a hole on a steel member in TEKLA structures. Now after creating all these, I'll come to applications and components here and click this, and then just type hole. You'll be confronted with all these macros. Then pick hole generation, or it's numerically described as 32. I'll click on that. Now having clicked on that, down here on the command line, the software is asking you to pick the object you want to create a hole on. Now we want to create a hole on this plate. I'll click on this plate. After clicking on the plate, click the middle button on the mouse. Then you'll take a look at it again. You'll see pick the position. Now the position will be these marked points. I want to create a hole here and a hole here. Now I'll come here and click on that. Having clicked on that, I'll right click and double click on that frame. This dialog box will come up, and from here we want to create a hole of 40, of diameter 40. Just type 40, and we want the hole to be centered within the points. Now I'll feed in the radius of this hole, which is 20, and feed in a radius of that hole here, 20. Now the part to be cut is circular. Rotated, no. Now after doing all that, we'll just come here and click modify and apply. Our hole has been created here. This is our hole already created here. This is the hole. Now we can go ahead and create another one. We'll click on the member to where we intend to create a hole, and press your middle button on the mouse and click on that spot. Right click and to enter that command, then you'll see a hole created on the other end. Now if you come to view, you'll be able to turn this round and be able to manipulate it. Now I'll pick on this and right click and click move. From this spot, to this spot. To this spot right there. Right click and interrupt. You see our holes are not properly located, but the essence is just to show you how to create the hole. This is just a brief presentation, but this is the way forward to create a hole. Now I can use the same markings for the plate to create a hole on this beam here. Now from down end here, I'll come back to holes, to hole generation, and click on the beam and press the middle button on the mouse and snap on that spot. If you zoom out, you'll be able to see something that somehow might confuse you if you're not careful, or if you're not following carefully. Just zoom out. Yes, zoom out, and I'll turn this round for us to be able to access the part we've created. The hole has been created horizontally on the beam, which is not right. Now to rectify this, just double click on that selection, then come to coordination system, then don't go to coordination system, come to rotation here, then create the hole out of plane. Having done that, go ahead and click modify. Once you've clicked modify, you'll see the hole is created up here, but since our hole is closer, very close to the edge of our beam, it has created a cut that looks unprofessional at the edge of the beam, and that can be rectified. Click on that, press Ctrl and click on that spot, right click and click move from that end to this end by 50. It has moved. Rotate with mouse, turn this round. See, it has moved together with the hole on top of it. Now if you take a look closer, you'll see a hole has been created again on top of the beam, which is not right. Turn this round like this, turn this round like this, turn this round like this. This is not right, and to rectify this, what you do is just to double click on that, then come to the dialog box of hole generation, then on this part type the thickness of this beam. Now we'll type this 50 to enable the hole to flush with the top end of the beam. I'll just click after feeding 50. I'll click modify. I'll apply and accept. It has shifted here, which is not right. We want that hole to be down here. We'll go back to undo and double click on that and click 0. And try 50, negative 50, modify, perfect. not right still. 50. Apply. It's not right. Click OK. Then modify that out of plane. You can play around with the planes here and see how the hole is being located on a member you intend to create a hole on. Click in plane and also click out of plane. Modify, apply and accept. Perfect. Okay. Now double click on that. Let's try 50. Let's try 50. The hole is coming up. $150. $20. $2. Perfect. We can try. I'll leave you with that to try all that to relocate the hole. 900. Try modify. $950. $950. Give it that. Perfect. It's moving. Now I think you've seen the tricks on how to create a hole on a steel member. How to create a hole on a steel member. Now that's it. I'll close this and come to navigate and turn this round. We've created a hole here. And now quickly, before I come back to rectifying the unrequired hole up there, let me show you how to create a plane. To use a plane, I'll right click and come to the hole model. I'll redraw to get me back where I was. Now I'll close that. I'll come to clip plane and I'll click right here. I'll click right here on the same on the very plate. I'll click right there and I'll be able to manipulate my model easily without any obstruction. Now I'll click that and turn it round. Perfect. Now this is how to create a hole on a steel member. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I'm your presenter Maurice Dimba. Let's meet on the next presentation and bye bye.